Hi, I'm Dr. Tieche with our Medminute for the week. So I have a two-part question that I was asked. The first part is intermittent fasting better than calorie restriction for dieting? The second part of the question, which is a little bit different, is can intermittent fasting help with insulin resistance and metabolic health? So I'm going to do the first part, is intermittent fasting better than regular diet? Quick answer, no. Basically, it's all based on calorie restriction, and it's going to be personal preference. So really, as you know, we diet, we need to take in less calories than we're burning, and that deficit is really results in what the calorie loss is going to be per day, and then that adds up, and that's how many pounds we're going to end up losing. So it ends up just really being a personal preference for dieting. Some people prefer to eat a little bit all throughout the day, and then just restricting the total number of calories for the day and getting their deficit. Some people are not big breakfast people, or maybe another thing, and they won't start eating till maybe 10 or 11 and then eat till 6 or 7. And in that way, they're effectively restricting their calories by only having 2 out of 3 meals per day. Now, there's other people who will make up for that calorie by eating more during that time. So if either way works, as long as the total calorie intake is less than what your metabolism is, and so it doesn't really matter whether you do intermittent fasting or calorie restriction. Now, if you're taking intermittent fasting and using it for health reasons, totally different situation. So intermittent fasting has a lot of benefits. For one, it definitely helps metabolism. It helps insulin levels. It helps lower insulin levels. It helps blood sugar levels. It helps all sorts of metabolic things by doing that. And so intermittent fasting is easier in a way. It's a very easy way of fixing some of these things. You really just will skip a meal. So most people just skip one meal. It doesn't matter which you do. Most people prefer to skip breakfast, and will eat somewhere between 10 and 11 and 6 and 7. And that's it. That's where they get all their calories. And so you can do intermittent fasting without dieting, so you hit all of your calories in that time. Or if you do want to make it a portion in a way of dieting, you just limit your calories and only eating 2 meals. So the benefits are really insulin resistant, improved glucose metabolism, and then autophagy. What is that? Well, autophagy is when your body eats up and gets rid of all the dead or sick cells. And that happens much more during fasting. Your body doesn't have to keep processing food and spending all the time digesting and breaking down food. So it concentrates now on repair, going back and going through all the different systems, your blood vessels, your brain, your heart, everywhere, and searching out these cells that need to be cleaned up, swept away, and get rid of. Because it clogs up the system when they're there and actually promotes aging. So that's one of the huge things that helps with intermittent fasting. So in that way, it's much better for health. People experience much more mental clarity as well as more energy, which seems contrary. You're eating less food, but people have a lot more energy. People actually sleep better, things like that from intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting for a lifestyle approach is very good if you're able to tolerate it, because you're eating less, your body's actually repairing itself much more during that time. And people who have blood sugar problems as well as elevated insulin levels actually brings them down into normal ranges. Insulin levels are associated with inflammation and all that kind of stuff. So inflammation, of course, is associated with diseases. That's why we want all of those much lower. So the intermittent fasting has a lot of benefits other than just calorie restriction. So that's our questions for the day.